Hey guys, if you're watching this video, it's because you're getting ready to start your next unit on Ancient India. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that we are starting Ancient India with a map, just like we have all the rest of the units that we've studied. So there are some things that you should have received from me. The first thing that you should have received is a list of all your standards for the unit India. The first one you're going to see is standard 6.23 that says locate and describe the Himalayas and the major river systems, including the Indus and Ganges, and evaluate the importance of each. The next thing you should have received from me is a map. Okay, so the materials that you're going to need is glue, a pair of scissors, and the following colors: green, orange, red, blue, brown, black, and purple. Now remember, if you need to stop this video at any point when we go through here to catch up with me or to get what you need, you may do so, and then you can start the video back when you get back to your seat or when you get your stuff together and ready, whatever you need to do. Or if you don't hear something I said to do, you can always rewind it and re-listen to it. Alright, so the very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to cut out standard 6.23 and you're going to glue it on a page in your spiral notebook where you want to start your unit on India. It should be right after your unit on Egypt. Once you have done that, we're going to get started on our map. Now the first thing that we're going to do on our map is take a couple of notes. The first thing I want you to do is label the top of your map. This map is a map of India. And it's hard to see that when it's typing in white and you're on white paper. So let's try this again. Okay, India. Now we're going to take a couple of notes on the side, and we're also going to color in red on our locator map. So this right here is our locator map. As you can see right here, it's shaded in already for you. You're just going to take your red pencil and you're going to shade that over in red, because this locator map locates where in the world we are, and this is where we are when we are talking about India. So we're going to shade this in red. Okay, once you have that shaded in, we're going to take a couple of notes over here on the side. Okay, the first note we're going to take is we are going to put that India is located on the continent, and I hope you know this, of, do you know? Asia. The next note that we're going to take is India. Let me scoot this over a little bit. India is actually a subcontinent. So India is a, whoops, I don't know what happened there, is a, well, if I can type, subcontinent. And evidently I can't. Subcontinent. Alright, the reason that it is considered a subcontinent is because if you look here, subcontinents are large land masses, but they're usually separated by a geographical feature. That geographical feature in this case are all of these mountains. India actually looks like an icicle that is melting and falling off into the ocean, and maybe a little part of it dripped right here. However, this is not India. Alright, but India is considered a subcontinent because it is separated by this geographical feature of mountains here. It is a part of the continent of Asia though. Alright, so this box over here is what you have at the bottom, I think it is. Let me see. Yes, the bottom of your paper. And I'm going to actually label mine to match yours. Alright, this is the Indus River Valley. This is your map key. So we're going to be marking this map key as we go. Alright. Now remember, if I go too fast for you, you can always pause to get what you need. But we're going to move right along on this map. Alright, since the first thing that we talked about was the geographical feature that separated India, or yes, India, from the rest of the continent of Asia, being mountains, and I'm moving around here now. Right, the first thing you're going to need is purple, and we're going to mark these mountains here in purple. Right, you can see that I've got these mountains marked these are going to be labeled the Hindu Kush Mountains. All right, they are some of the mountains that are part of that geographical feature that kind of help separate India from the rest of the continent of Asia. All right, so we're going to go ahead in our map key, and we're going to draw. Leave you some space right here. No, actually, I'll tell you what, don't leave any space. Let's go ahead and do this. I want you to draw 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3, and then take your purple and draw this mountain and label it Hindu Kush Mountains. Leave these boxes alone. We'll come back to them in just a moment. All right, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take just your regular pencil, but we're going to bold these mountains in black. And as you notice, this one's solid. You can go ahead and make it really, really dark if you want to. There's something special about that mountain. All right, some of you may already know what is special about that mountain, and you may know what this mountain range is called. This is the Himalaya Mountains. Now, if you didn't know what was special about that mountain, you may. Because in the Himalaya Mountains, we have one very special mountain. I think you might know some facts about it. Maybe that it's the tallest one. This is Mount Everest. So over here in our map key now, we're going to draw a regular mountain. These are the Himalayas. And then here, we're going to draw a solid one. And this represents Mount Everest. And we're actually going to watch some videos about Mount Everest, and you're going to find out some really cool things about it. There are people that have climbed it. I don't think that I ever want to be one, but, you know, kudos to them. I think that's awesome. But, yeah, I have a hard time getting up the steps. Why would I climb a mountain? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm off task. I'm moving right along. All right, we're going to go ahead while we're here, and right across this, we're going to write big and bold, India. All right, and I think you're going to enjoy this unit because there's a lot of really cool things that you're going to be able to learn about ancient India and India today. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to label our large bodies of water. So we're going to start here first, and as you can see, we have our compass rose. Let's go ahead and label it north, east, south, west. Never eat slimy worms. All right, in the west, on the west coast of west coast of India, sorry, this is the Arabian Sea. On the east coast of India, this is the Bay of Bengal. And at the very south point of India, where it looks like this icicle is dripping off, this is, okay, I have an eye down there. This video is about to get really choppy because it's the end of the afternoon and announcements are on, so I'm having to hit pause every 5 seconds. So, bear with me. Let's try this again. At the very south point of India, this body of water is the Indian Ocean. All right, and while we are down here at the Indian Ocean, remember a minute ago I told you this was not India? This is Sri Lanka. Okay? And it's in a little island. It is separated from India. It is Sri Lanka. So you can go ahead and label that one. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you before we get much further, this map is going to get really, really busy for me on the Promethean board. So I'm probably going to erase things as we go just because you're going to get really confused with all this writing on the board. So you will have to look at the map in class to make sure that you have done your map correctly when it is all finished. Okay, because you will not see the finished product on this video. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we will come back to shading in our bodies of water blue a little bit later. However, we are going to switch to blue now because we're going to mark our rivers. All right, so the first one that we're going to mark that is of great importance that we will be studying in our unit on India, that is the Indus River. The Indus River dumps into the Arabian Sea and it is located right here. So we're going to trace over this river in blue. And once you have it traced over in blue, we're going to go ahead and label it Indus River. All right, now, the next river that we are going to mark dumps into the Bay of Bengal over here. So this is this river. This is called the Ganges. So you're going to trace this river all the way up and under your locator map. Okay, this is the Ganges. And once you get it traced, we're going to label it the Ganges River. Now we're going to go ahead and trace the other rivers that are on the map, even though we are not going to be talking about them in our unit on India very much. We're going to be focusing on the Indus River and the Ganges River. But let's go ahead and trace our other rivers here that are located in India as well. There should be, oops, I messed up right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more rivers. Alright, so now I have all my other rivers traced on India, and I am about to erase a lot of what you see because we're going to be working up here at the Indus River now. Alright, so I've erased some of the other rivers and I've erased the Himalaya mountains, so we are working up here now in the Indus River. Alright, the next color you're going to need is orange. Alright, so I want you to switch to your orange coloring pencil. We're going to find a dotted line that is on our map, and we're going to trace over this. So we're going to trace this in orange. Alright, once you have that traced in orange, we're going to draw 3 little dotted lines over here, and we're going to go ahead and label this. This is the Indus Valley Civilization. Alright, it was one of the first places where settlers came in, where they settled around the Indus River. Alright, while you have your orange, you're going to shade with it just a little bit. So I'm going to switch to my highlighter so you can see. On the east shore of the river, alright, I want you just to shade this orange. And we're going to go to, right about there. Then on the west bank of the river, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to shade this orange to right about here. And then we're going to shade in between the rivers. All this is orange. Now, switch to your brown, and we're actually going to shade over this just a little bit in brown. So, I'm just going to shade over my orange, and if it's a little bit messy, that's kind of actually what you want. Alright, I'm going to shade over this orange in brown. So now we're going to come over here to this box, and we are going to color this in orange. Alright, then you're going to take your brown and you're going to do the same thing that you did and just kind of shade over it in brown. This is called the Indus Plain, and we're going to go ahead and label this the Indus Plain. Alright, let's go ahead and make a note over here. Hopefully you already know what this is. But a plain, and I don't mean like an airplane, I mean a plain as in geographical terms. This is a flat area. Okay, it's kind of like a lowland. So if this is a plain area, all up through here, then this area around the river must be what? Really rocky, hilly, bumpy? No, it's a flat area. Would that be good for growing crops? Probably so. Would that be easy to flood on? Probably so. Okay, so everything has its advantages and disadvantages. But this area that we marked right here, around the Indus River, in the Indus civilization, and we need to go ahead and label that as well. This orange mark is the Indus Valley civilization. Okay, Don't get that confused with this arrow. This arrow is something else, all right? But this yellow mark, yellow, evidently I don't know my colors, I mean orange. This is the Indus Valley Civilization. All right, now the next color you're gonna need is green. We are going to trace beside this Indus Plain, where we've done the orange and brown, we're gonna trace right around the edge of it green. Now you're going to want to make this a darker green, so I'm actually going to change this color here to make this a little bit darker because you're going to want to be able to tell the difference. Alright, so this all up around the plain is a dark green. I know that doesn't look too dark on here. It's because I'm using the highlighter. And we're going to go just outside this orange mark. Alright, then we're going to go on this side and we're going to color this a darker green. Okay, so you're shading this in darker. And we're going to go up through here, up along the river, and past it a little bit. And then we're going to shade this in all green. Now you can really see what I'm talking about. Alright? So we've got this in green around the plain, and this in green here. You're just going to kind of ruffle it up around here a little bit. Okay, and I'll bet you that you can guess what that's going to be. We're going to color this in green here. Alright, the darker green. And we're going to label this the Indus River Valley. Okay, so we have the Indus Plain right here next to the river, and then we have the Indus River Valley that's up through here. Which one do you think is really, really fertile? It's that area around the river. Now, while you have your green, you might as well just go ahead and do this. We're going to shade all of India in a lighter green. Okay, can you tell how that's lighter? Alright, so all of this is going to be a lighter green. That's probably still too dark for me, or for you to tell on Promethean board, but okay. All this. Alright, so all of India now is colored in green on my map. Alright, even this area that was right here around where we're talking about, the Indus River Valley and the Indus River Plain. Alright, I want you to go ahead and color in your water blue as well. So we're just going to shade that in blue. Alright, and that represents our seas and our ocean and our bay. Now, we've got some other things that we're going to mark on here, and this is getting a little bit busy, so I'm going to actually clear this off, and then I'm going to show you the other things that I want you to mark. So don't freak out when you see this map completely blank here in just a minute, because you're going to. Alright, and we're going to label a few more things. Alright, that was actually kind of sad getting rid of all that. It looked like all my hard work was just gone for nothing. Oh well. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is this third box I told you to draw in, just erase it because we're going to change that to something else. Alright, we're going to put two little marks that are like this. And if you look really closely on your map, you will see them. They are in the Hindu Kush Mountains. There's some right here, and there's some right here. And we're going to trace over those. Alright, these are called passes. This is actually the Khyber, K-H-Y, try this again, K-H-Y-B-E-R, the Khyber Pass. Now a pass in the mountains is an area where it is much easier to pass through. It's not as hilly, it's not as rocky. It's almost like you're following this little valley or this little path that's been cut in the mountain, and you're able to get through the mountains much easier than trying to go up and down and up and over. So it makes it easier to pass through. All right, we're going to take our pencil, and starting around here in the mountains, we're going to draw a line, and we're going to take it through the pass right here to the Indus River, and we're going to draw an arrow, a point. All right, then at the other one, we're going to come up here to the corner, and we're going to draw, whoops, sorry, my hand slipped. All right, we're going to draw another one that comes down through here, and this time we're coming below this little dot. Right, so below the little dot is going to represent the place, and draw an arrow on down here. That is how people came into India, was through the Khyber Pass. Now, some of them probably stopped in the Indus Plain and the Indus River Valley and formed the Indus Valley Civilization, because this is where one of the first civilizations was in India. Alright, others probably came through, went on through the Indus Valley and came on down into India and started other civilizations all down throughout here. Alright, one being around the Ganges River. Now, speaking of these two little dots, as I called them, let's go ahead and darken these in. These represent the towns or the cities, the civilizations that were there. Alright, this one right here is Mohenjo, M-O-H-E-N-J-O -Daro. Mohenjo-Daro. So let's go ahead and make one dot over here and label it Mohenjo-Daro. And you're going to learn more about these because, as you know, I've got a couple of videos to tell you about Mohenjo-Daro. And the other one, right, which is Harappa, H-A-R-A-P-P-A. We're going to come to our map key, and we're going to make another one to represent Harappa, right? And we're going to learn more about both of those civilizations as we go through India. All right, let's see. All right, I want you to go ahead and I want you to take your green, and these arrows that we traced down through here, I want you to shade over them or trace over them in really, for you, really, really, really dark green, because I want you to be able to see them. All right, both of these. All right, and we're going to make one of those arrows here. We're going to trace over it in green, because this is going to represent, oh, let me get down here, the route of the Aryan migration. So this tells you who came in there. It was the Aryans. Okay, it's the route of the Aryan migration. All right, and they were the ones who came into India. Now, there's also an arrow right here. We're going to switch to red. And I want you to trace over this arrow, big and bold, because you're going to you're going to recognize, hello, I can't talk, bleh. Okay, let's try this again. You are going to recognize what I tell you this is. This represents, on down here, make your arrow, a trade route. This was a trade route with one of the very first civilizations that we know about and that we studied. Do you know what it is? I bet you do. It is a trade route with, oh, are you recognizing it? Mesopotamia. So the Indian people traded with the Mesopotamians. Alrighty, we're getting there. We're almost done. Alright, I'm going to have to clear a couple of things off of my Indus River Valley map key just so you can see. So don't you do this. Alright, you leave this on your map. But I'm going to erase this just so I'll have more room because we need to add a couple more things in here. All right, the first thing that we need to add is take your pencil and you're going to draw an arrow, only this time you're going to make it look like, you know how you make the back of a bow and arrow look? Where you do like this. All right, you're going to do that. All right, we're going to trace over one in red. All right, ew, that's a yucky job tracing. And then we're going to do another one. Okay, just like it. And we're going to trace over it in blue. Maybe, if my pen will work. There we go. Now, I don't know if you know this about India or not, but this does still happen today. India has monsoons. Do you know what a monsoon is? If you ever get caught in a monsoon, you're certainly going to know what it is. A monsoon is rain like you have never seen before, and it floods like flooding you have never seen before. We think it rains over here, monsoons. If you lived in India, you would know what a real monsoon was. And yes, there is a video for it. Don't worry, you'll be watching one. And you're going to be absolutely amazed because you're not going to believe it. All right, the monsoons in India are pretty predictable. Okay, the reason that they are predictable is because they are seasonal. It depends on the wind patterns, whether it's the wet season or the dry season. Most of India has a hot, humid climate, but the monsoons can really influence what's going on in India. In the summer, the monsoon winds blow into India from the Indian Ocean. Okay, where did we say the Indian Ocean was? Because I have already erased this off my map. Hopefully you know it's down here. Okay, so in the summer, these winds blow up from the Indian Ocean. Now, since we think of rain as being blue and we color water on maps as blue, we're going to use these arrows right here that are blue. So I'm going to switch back to my blue, okay? And we're going to draw how these winds blow in from the Indian Ocean. They blow up and around, okay? They go way up into India. And they bring all this water with them, and it is a monsoon. The rain can bring as much as 100 to 200 inches of rain, which seems crazy to us, but that is exactly it can bring that much more, a little less. Monsoons are ridiculous amounts of rain. All right, so when these, I cannot talk today, when these winds blow up from the Indian Ocean into India, okay, this is the summer monsoon. So we're going to mark this one, the summer monsoon. It is a wet monsoon, okay? It's wet either way, but hopefully you'll understand here in a minute. Okay, it's bringing wet moisture in from the ocean. Now, in the winter, it's the opposite direction. All right, so we're going to switch to our red. Oh, and by the way, if you want to do this, and I think I would if I were you, okay, draw these like we have on our map key. These are the summer monsoons, bringing moisture in from the what? Hope you answered that Indian Ocean, because you might say that again. Just saying. All right, we're going to switch to red now, because in the winter monsoons, and you can go ahead and write that here. Okay, the winter monsoons, these announcements are driving me crazy. Okay, where was I? Because every time that happens, I have to pause and wait for them to go off, and then I forget what I said. Oh, yes, the winter monsoons. All right, the winter monsoons do the exact opposite. They blow in from the mountains. So you have winds blowing this direction, going across India. Okay, and you can go ahead and do this as well. All right, the winter monsoons bring in a lot of rainfall as well. It forces the winds down from the mountains and forces moisture out of India, and it creates a warm, dry winter. All right, so we have our summer monsoons bringing moisture in from the Indian Ocean, our winter monsoons bringing in this dry air from the mountains, and then that actually creates a warm, dry climate. Okay, so I'm going to read this out of the book so you understand it, because hopefully it's what I've said, but it puts it in a little bit more order. And maybe I can talk if I read it through the book, because obviously I'm having a hard time talking any other way. Okay, in the summer, all right, so we're looking at this one right here, summer monsoons. And I should switch to blue so you see that. All right, summer monsoons. In the summer, monsoon winds blow into India from the Indian Ocean, bringing heavy rains that can cause terrible flooding. Some parts of India can receive as much as 100 or even 200 inches of rain during this time. In the winter, okay, the red, in the winter, winds blow down from the mountains. This forces moisture out of India and creates warm, dry winters. Okay, so we have the summer monsoon winds and the winter monsoon winds. And if I understand it correctly, and I think I do, the summer monsoon winds bring moisture in and terrible flooding. The winter monsoons bring in a warm, dry winter climate for India. Okay, that seems kind of weird, doesn't it? All right, so they have dry winters, really, really, really wet summers. All right, I'm grabbing my map here to see if I have everything marked that I want you to have marked.
Christopher Holt, come to the office. Christopher Holt, come to the office.
Well, I just hit pause 1,500 times. You probably heard me beating the board half to death. Okay. All right, where was I? Okay, I'm looking to see if our map is, oh, nope, we lack one more thing. Okay, so I'm going to clear this off again, just so you can see where I'm writing. Okay, one more thing that we want to do. We want to mark this area south down here in India, the Deccan, D-E-C-C-A-N, plateau, and hopefully you know the difference between a plain and a plateau. We have this written over here a minute ago. A plain is a flat area. A plateau is a raised area, but on top of that raised area, it is flat. All right, so this is the Deccan Plateau, and on this shoreline, okay, the western, this is called the Western Ghats, okay, G-H-A-T-S. If this is on the west, this must be the Eastern Ghats. All right, so we need to get the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats marked, and we also need to get the Deccan Plateau marked. And I think that that is all we need to do on our map. I hope so. If there's something else we need to add, I will add it with you in class. Okay? Now, you can check in class to see if your map looks like mine. Hopefully it will. And if it does, then you will have it correct. And then we are going to move on to the next thing. Now, know this, you're going to have some videos about the Indus River, about the Ganges River, and about India. You are going to have a quiz over those things, so you need to pay attention to those videos when you watch them. All right, and you need to remember some of the things that I've told you about this map. So hopefully you made these notes on the side along with a few more, and if you heard me say anything else or you're thinking of anything right now that you want to write down, you might want to jot that down too. Okay, that's our map for India. I will see you. Bye.